Have you ever dreamed of walking through the streets of Athens without the endless tourist crowds, or lying on a Greek beach that feels almost private? October in Greece is either the smartest travel move you can make, or the biggest mistake that could ruin your trip. Because here's the truth. Yes, the prices are lower. Yes, the crowds are smaller. And yes, the sunsets are still breathtaking. But there's another side no one tells you about. Restaurants shutting down, ferries running less often, and weather that can change from summer heat to autumn storms in a single day. So today, we're diving into the full picture. The costs, the hacks, the hidden downsides, and the exact tips you need to know to decide whether Greece in October is your personal paradise or a waste of money. Part 1. The weather in October. Here's the first thing everyone wonders. What's the weather actually like? On the mainland, Athens, Thessaloniki, even the Peloponnese, you're looking at average daytime temperatures of around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. In the south, like Crete or Rhodes, it's still warmer. Often 24, sometimes even 25 degrees Celsius during the day. That means you can walk around in a t-shirt, enjoy outdoor cafes, and still feel like it's summer. And the sea? Believe it or not, it's usually warmer than the air, about 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. So, yes, swimming is still possible and honestly refreshing. But keep this in mind, the evenings drop to 15 degrees Celsius or lower. Bring a jacket because you'll need it once the sun goes down. Now for the downside, October is the start of the rainy season. On average, you'll get 4 to 6 rainy days during the month. It's not a constant downpour, but you could lose 1 or 2 beach days. Still, most days are sunny and the air feels fresh compared to the heat of August. So the weather isn't bad at all. But what about the prices? This is where October really gets interesting. Part 2. Prices and budget. This is where Greece in October starts to feel like a cheat code. Hotels that cost 120 euros per night in August, you'll often find them for 60 to 70 euros in October. Airbnbs are even cheaper, though don't forget the new short-term rental tax. From April through October, hosts can charge an extra €1.50 to €8 per night, depending on the property. Flights follow the same pattern. Peak season return tickets from London to Athens can hit 300 to 400 euros in summer. In October, it's often half that, 150 to 200 euros if you book smart. According to Greece Insiders, the average weekly cost for a mid-range trip in Greece at 1,286 euros per person. But in October, you can easily shave 20 to 30% off that. That means you're spending closer to 900 to 1,000 euros for the same week-long experience. Daily budgets drop too. Travel blogs like Never Ending Footsteps estimate an average of 77 euros per day in Greece, including 45 euros for accommodation, 23 euros for food, 7 euros for transport, and 2 euros for extras. But outside the high season, that 77 euros can sink to 50 to 60 euros, especially if you skip the expensive islands. So yes, you can go to Greece for half the price. But here's the catch. Cheaper doesn't always mean better, because when prices fall, sometimes availability does too. Let's talk about what really changes on the ground. The restaurants, the nightlife, the daily vibe. Part 3. Life and food in October. Here's something most people don't realize until they arrive. Greece in October feels like a different country compared to July or August. The good news? The crowds are gone. That Instagram-famous Athens cafe where you couldn't even find a table in summer? Now you can sit down, order, and actually enjoy the view without 10 people bumping into you with selfie sticks. But here's the trade-off. While the mainland cities stay alive all year, many of the smaller islands start shutting down. Taverns, beach bars, even some hotels. By mid-October, they're closed until next season. If you're dreaming of wild beach parties on Mykonos, forget it. Those end in September. That said, food prices are lower and the experience is often better. Taverns that do stay open are usually the ones where locals eat. You'll find yourself paying 8 euros for a moussaka instead of 12 euros, and the flavors are just as authentic. Maybe even more so, because the kitchen isn't cooking for 200 tourists at once. So food is cheaper, crowds are smaller, but some options vanish. What about activities? Can you still explore and see everything you came for? Part 4. attractions, excursions, and beaches. This is where October really splits opinion. If you're coming for Greece's ancient history, Athens, the Acropolis, Delphi, Meteora, you're in luck. These landmarks are open year-round, and October might be the best time to see them. The weather is mild enough for long walks, and you're not roasting in 35 degrees Celsius heat like in July. The beaches are another story. They're quieter, almost private in some cases, which sounds amazing, until you realize the wind is stronger, and the water feels just a little too chilly for long swims. Perfect for sunbathing and a quick dip, but not for endless beach days. Excursions change too. Popular boat tours, island-hopping cruises, and beach parties often stop after September. But what replaces them is arguably better for many travelers. Wine tours in Crete, mountain hikes in the Peloponnese, and village festivals that feel far more authentic than any tourist package. In short, you trade nightlife and boat parties for culture and local experiences. For some, that's a loss. For others, it's the whole reason to come in October. Which brings us to the big question. Is Greece in October paradise or a waste of money? Part 5. The verdict. Here's the bottom line. Greece in October isn't for everyone. If you're looking for endless nightlife, packed beaches, and a full-on party vibe, you'll be disappointed. The season is over, and the islands start going into hibernation. But if you want a calmer, cheaper, more authentic Greece, October is a goldmine. You'll save 30 to 50% on accommodation, skip the tourist chaos, and discover a side of Greece most people never see. The key is choosing wisely. Stick to big islands like Crete or Rhodes, or mainland hotspots like Athens and Thessaloniki, and you'll have the perfect balance of activity and relaxation. Go to tiny islands in late October, and you may find yourself wandering empty streets with nowhere to eat. So, paradise or waste of money? It depends on what you're looking for. For me, October is paradise for the budget traveler, the culture lover, or the couple who wants peace and quiet. For the party crowd, wait until next summer. Part 6. A day in October. Real-life example. Let's put this into perspective with a real example. Imagine you land in Athens on a Friday morning in October. Breakfast, a coffee, and a pastry for €3. Metro ride to the city center, €1.20. Visit the Acropolis, €10, half price in the low season. Lunch at a local taverna, €12. Afternoon coffee with a view, €4. Dinner with wine, €18. Accommodation for the night in a mid-range hotel, €60. Total? Just over €100 for a full day packed with history, food, and authentic experiences. In July, the same day could easily hit €180 to €200. That's the power of traveling in October. Part 7. Mainland versus islands. Which stays alive? Not all parts of Greece are the same in October, and this is where many travelers get it wrong. Mykonos and Santorini? Beautiful, but by mid-October, nightlife is dead, and many restaurants are closed. You'll find yourself wandering empty streets, wondering where everyone went. Crete, Rhodes, and Corfu? Completely different story. These islands have big local populations, universities, and year-round economies. The result? Shops stay open, buses still run, and the vibe is alive. Local hack: always choose islands that locals actually live on in big numbers. Tourist-only islands shut down. Local islands keep the heart of Greece beating, even in October. Part 8. Context. Why Greece in October is special. October isn't just the end of tourist season. For locals, it's the start of something special: harvest season. Vineyards in Crete are alive with grape picking and wine festivals. Villages in the Peloponnese celebrate with food, music, and tradition. These aren't staged events for tourists, they're the real deal. One traveler from Germany described visiting a small Cretan vineyard in October. I was the only foreigner there. Everyone else was local, eating, drinking, laughing. It felt like being part of the family. That's the kind of authentic moment you can't buy in peak summer. Part 9. Local hacks. How to travel smart in October. Here are the insider tips to make the most of Greece in October. Use KTEL buses for cheap and reliable transport between cities. Taxis add up fast. Book hotels that cater to business travelers. They stay open year-round, unlike seasonal resorts. Always check ferry schedules in advance. In October, they run less frequently, and missing one could mean waiting a whole day. Eat where the menu is in Greek, not just English. That's where locals go, and prices are lower. These small moves can save you hundreds and make your trip smoother. So, is Greece in October paradise or a waste of money? If you value calm, savings, and authenticity, it's paradise. If you need parties, crowds, and constant energy, it's a waste. The real secret? Greece in October rewards the smart traveler. You get more value, more culture, and more space to enjoy it all. And if you found this video helpful, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Love you.